um, uh, history. Still about Canaan, and because I went through a whole lot of things to see who migrated where, who defeated which kingdom, how people had to migrate from here to there, and all those things. But the bottom line is monotheism, and that means that there is only one creator, and that is a fact whether you want to believe it or not. When you worship idols and images and things like that as your creator, then that's not okay, because your creator is in all things. So that would be worshipping a part of him to the exclusion of the other part of him. And like, you don't worship things, you worship your creator. It's just like, seems like common sense to me, but maybe not to others. But when beings came into sacred divine union with all that is, then they have his qualities, characteristics, his nature, his attributes. They have all his wonder to create and do things, right? So then we perceive them as God. But you will remember in the beginning I said to you that maybe in the future you would think I'm God, but I'm not God. God created all of us, right? And so we are all the created creators. The only thing with me is that through me, He is present on earth. So it would appear as though I am. I am, but I'm the created creator. So I basically have the heart of God and the wisdom and all that a divine medium. But I am not the creator. I can create worlds and things, but I'm the created creator. Just like you are too. So the playing field is level, except that I have some a higher ranking. But even though I have the highest ranking on earth, I still see us all as divine. Because ranking doesn't give you the right to be um, dominant over others. I just made you aware of the law, and when necessary, the law will be enforced. And you all know what the law is because I'm quite transparent. So, because that is what our Creator desires, and what our Creator desires, God's will is my will. So, you and me and you, and you and me and you. We will clarify more with time, because it's just as much of a surprise to me as it may be to you. Because you is full of surprises, brilliant, a genius, amazing, stunning, wonderful, a whole lot of things. I find myself laughing most of the time. But there's a time for everything, time to laugh and time to be serious. And now that we all are equal, irrespective of race, gender, age, and something else, we must love ourselves and take care of ourselves and do the same for others, and include you in everything, please, because you went through time for this moment to bring peace. And you just saw the cards in the previous reading showing paradise, man in paradise is abundant and all that. And I remember with the ascension, I first flipped to the back like that, because I said this like the coin flip to something. And then, so it's not the old world anymore. So the transition period is a little unknown, but we will gain greater clarity as we progress together. So yeah, that's basically the one. Yeah, because here I wrote, did you see me trying to worship other gods? Did you hear me say it is not I but my Father who lives in me? Did you hear me ask for praise, or do I say all praise to the Most High? And yet I say all of you are God's divine beings, because that is also true. But you must remember, we were created. We were in the mind of God before we even got to this point. So we always were, we always are, and we will always be. It's just by design. Alright, then what now? Canaan, current year. Okay. Yes, and then a whole lot of history. I just made a long story very short, so I don't have to read all these pages. What's this, David? The harvest, something about the Jewish harvest. What was this? King Solomon, David, Canaan, Hebrew Bible, Babylon. Festival of harvest, heart of this life was Jerusalem, centered around the temple after the Babylonian exile. This temple was the center of worship, included large courtyards and sacred spaces, holy of holies where Yahweh was believed to dwell, including annual sacrifices, covenant with Yahweh, animal sacrifices. That is, animal sacrifices was perhaps necessary in the old world, but now we are in direct. I mean, when you speak to you get answers, right? Your spirit says this, that. You're being divinely guided, you're divinely protected, because you are divine, right? So I don't think animal sacrifices are appropriate anymore. Lebanon, top Hamas commanders killed. Sinus. Oh, this is not news now. Okay, I saw Anwar Sinwar, some like that. He wanted to engage in some talks, and then later on there was some disruption. And I wondered whether I didn't think he did it. I thought somebody that from his camp that disagrees with his uh, growth sabotaged him. But I could be wrong, because who knows why people do things, eh? But I saw that as a step in the right direction. Because who would make that effort to go make matters right and then go sabotage it a few hours later? That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, then this is the 12th of September, and today is what? Is it the 19th today? Yeah, oh my gosh. That's a week. You'll never believe the kind of week I had. But it was good. It was a little uh, crazy, but not crazy. It made a lot of sense, but just by looking at it, it's. Yeah. Anyway, the floods in Louisiana. Freedom is natural like breathing. Machines are, oh, casinos. Now, you know me. So, I played casino like long ago, and then the odds were never in my favor. The odds were in my favor, but really. And then I got online games I could play endlessly. And then I started counting, and then I figured out which thing to count then. Then it go to 1,000 of the things, and then I win, and then go to 500 of the things, so it's rigged. And the other day I said, The Rat Pack. I read that book maybe 10, 15 years ago. And they were establishing casinos. Was it Nevada? Reno, Nevada, and whatever. And one of the things that they used to do with the machines in that book is set it for the house to win. So there's no chance of luck there, which is what it is promoting, but is not. So I can't see that the house always wins. So casino is kind of like daylight robbery, and I love the games and the graphics, and I do win and stuff. But I mean, I win 2024. Can someone be happy to win a 2,000 rand after they played out 6,000 rand? And that's just for a night. Right? And they go every night. I mean, then they sometimes give you 10,000 and then, nah, that is rigged. Casinos are rigged. So, my children, fauna, next, nature. My children, fauna, flora, man, marine. Flora, what is here? What is this? Marine life, Philippines and China or Japan or someone fighting over some piece of marine environments are off limits to human beings. They can take what's along the coast. Fishermen don't need permits to fish. And they're certainly not competing with gigantic trawlers on the oceans. There will be no trawlers left of people who exploit the oceans. And the mermen are ensuring that happens. They really do have a kingdom. I've been there. I told you once about a dream I had. And then I went down into the water and I had to choose either to go up or down. But I saw a little amber yellow light flickering far down. But it looks like outside, except it's filled with water, mountains, forests, all that. And then I just pulled up an air bubble and I stepped into it and I went down. And when I went to that cave, I didn't know it was a cave. I was just curious, what is that flickering light? It could have been maybe like 15 kilometers away, or maybe longer, I don't know. But I went down and I had to crawl into this cave, and it was filled with gems, yellow gems. Very narrow entrance, but I did it. And then I met a man in a room. He was alone in that room. So my first thought was like, who would want to be alone in a room? Like at the bottom of the ocean and things like that. And then the other day I actually got artwork on one of the channels I watch a lot of channels. And I recognized them. So until you adjust your behavior to thoughtfulness and consideration, what is it? Abundance, cycles of life. I celebrate every day by honoring and respecting all of life on Mother Earth, and I'm grateful by I am guided by the cycles of life and live in complete harmony with them. So they have the right, just as you have sovereignty in your countries, the mermen have sovereignty over the oceans. They are quite willing to share, but they're not willing to be exploited. So take your chances and see where that gets you, or consider what I'm saying. Then, what else? The word revealed, spokesman reasoning, Hebrew exile, senses of exceptional knowledge. Oh yes, like this I saw. Like the word Satan, right? Where do you see it now? Satan. There. Satan. You see that natal. That was the gestation period, but now you're born now. So everything is just right. Queen Chariot, God in motion, not actual vehicle. Ubiquity, yeah. You see the feathers when we entered heaven and the way the angels were standing and the ancestors and the ascended masters, it looked like feathers. I know something about birds now. In mustn't. What is this? Oh yes, this is the throne of God, right? And these are the kingdoms around God. Can you see? He's connected to all. He can see everything that's happening in the kingdoms. So, all kingdoms have divine protection. So, I know this is new thinking because we sit in our old ways, but a lot has changed and it's like that now. So, okay, Job's 10 children, I spoke about that. That's now what? Coming of age, right? Yeah, okay. Don't cut your hair. You need to let your hair grow because your hair is antennas. It's like who's that? Who was it? Samson. Remember, his strength was in his hair. So don't cut your hair. And if somebody does cut your hair, don't worry, you still have that strength. Because we're not limited to the physical world. We're not relying on Khan anymore. But letting your hair grow is divine. But you have to keep it clean. Okay, get a bee sting, because a bee sting is a vaccination. And yes, it is painful, but it's bearable. Okay, behemoth, vegetarian, grass power in the belly, right? All these things you're finding, all these things you find like oil and different minerals and stuff, those are the actual organs of the, because you will notice the mountains and a lot of land look like animals because those are the size of the animals and their bodies made up the continent. That's why some places are so fertile and whatever. The only thing you should avoid at all costs are gemstones because they're actually the bodies of serpents, of snakes. And I saw it the other night, and then because these things are hidden in plain sight, and I loved them. I had a whole lot, and then I realized, oh my gosh, because you showed me. I opened my eyes, I looked, and I actually saw a serpent. And I'm like, oh, I can't do this, but I had to do it. So I did it because I overcame my greatest fear. Because the things I've seen and done in the spiritual world is like you have no choice. You do have a choice, but you don't actually. You just do what you need to do when you need to do it. So try not to have gemstones because you can see by the patterns, by the colors, they look like actual serpents. And I'm thinking the same for granite. It's like granite is serpentine or something. Because I was busy with something and these rings just fell off my fingers on their own and I had to bend down on the floor and look for them and then I saw white granite and then I'm like, oh my gosh, this do that, do that, do that, do that, do that, do. So something there, right? Then it is the what of the ways of God to eat birds, something black pearls at base of house and one feather. The wheels of the throne of God. Cannibalism to eat birds. Only its maker can approach it with the sword. Oh yes, that's the behemoth. Like, I have 4 swords plus a bow and arrow. So, and in this few weeks, I've learned a lot about myself because throughout this current earthly life, I've resonated with a lot of things as though I've walked there myself. And I can see that I've left messages for myself for this time because I see it. And then I laugh because I have the same personality no matter the age or the era or the epoch. Anyway, all the stuff ends up looking like something. And what's so interesting is I, I get all these ships and symbols and things, and then they appear, and then they were key. They were keys in the precision of aligning uh, man and man. So that was very interesting, but if you had to see it, it looked crazy. Okay, navel, whatever you see, navel, Leviathan, the cord, the snake. You see, the cord has to do with natal, with that stuff. Taming the beast. The beamer is the beast. 15 ways of God. Man must humble himself in the presence of God. This is how you spell God, and it's not God. It is God. God. You see, there's the Trinity, and the sum is equal, the whole is equal to the greater of the parts and all. But that is how you spell God. Okay. Then what man is great and powerful. It's wonderfully made, is fearfully made. Fully. Now before they used to use the word holy, right? Fully. There. You see the Y at the end. Now before they used to use the word holy, and I said H is not right, it was holy. H doesn't belong anywhere in the English alphabet. I don't know about the others, but it doesn't belong. So now because we filled that gap, that's why we're the red black pearls, right? We fill the gap of the last piece of experience God required to complete His wisdom. We are now fully. We're not wholly. We are fully because He's filled now. So after a while, the way I speak and what I say is going to become part of you because it's just going to make more sense when you process it through your own mind and you say to you, Shay say this and that. What do you say? Why does she say that? And I think this and that and that. And there's that dialogue that you engage in because you will bring you clarity, truth. And then you'll say, wow, it's so obvious now. That's right. No forgiveness for intentional misleading. I think that's not too bad. Out of all the crimes against humanity, only two I struggle with. because I was subjected to. I was subjected to all the other 999,000 millions a year, but only those two. And I said it's balanced because here we have the law. You will love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, and soul, and you love yourself and others as you love. eh, And then two, so a complete knowledge of what is and what is not. And we are. As for this, okay, neither Job nor anyone had the right to criticize God's word. Neither Job nor anyone. Now Jay is gone because I got rid of the Jacks, the Janets, and the Jokers, right? So when you say the word Jesus, because I hear people still use the word Jesus, you can maybe say Jesus without the J, you know, ESUS or something. And Yahweh doesn't have HSE because that was the blocking of the AH and the W. You see, it was a block. So it's so literal that I'm like, really? It's that literal. The Lord shall punish Leviathan, divine judgment, nature, evil, and punishment. Then I heard the other day or yesterday, I lost track of time. Here in eternity, it's different for me. But the point is that I told you a red serpent bit me on the side. It was the deepest one. That was before I did that labor thing. And then I heard on the clip that there's a 7-headed red serpent dragon thing. Now you see what I did for you. I'm glad it's done now. You know, but so uh, I couldn't be sacrificed. I couldn't be defeated, and I couldn't whatever because I always was, I always am, and I always will be pure spirit. You know? So I took on that Leviathan and all those things, and the rest is history. And I told you they all came at once, and I called you, and you said, cut that umbilical, cut the umbilical cord. So that's what I say. Whatever we do with Abram was one, then you joined one, and then Sacred Divine Union, level up. And then David joined Sacred Divine Union, level up. Then Solomon, then me. See? So the God was always with us. God is always the constant with us. He got us. Something like that. It's so basic. You'd have thought it had to be complex and complicated and all of this, but it was just basic. You know, when there's a lie, there's complication because the truth is just yes or no. The Lord shall, show Job how small Job is in the greater scheme of things. Whoever hurt animals? No. Okay, yeah, we're just a drop of grain. A drop of sand, a grain of sand, you know? Physically. In the bigger scheme of things, we are invisible, but we are the greatest. Because the smallest is the most powerful. Just look at the atom, for example. Right? And whoever hurt animals, the next thing is now animal protection. Divine animals have divine protection. Right? I know we all love meat and we eat what we eat and we this and we that. So when the animal sacrifices their body, because they're quite happy to sacrifice themselves to sustain you because you are divine. You have dominion over them. So when they do give their bodies so that they live on in you because they're sustaining you, we have to give them that respect and thank the animal. for sacrificing itself for our nourishment. Something there. You see, there's holiness, there's sacredness in what we do. We don't just and don't care. That doesn't work. And in the old world, they were feeding us all fake food. But in the new world, we now have proper understanding. So we will improve daily or by the second. We just get better and better from here because there's no more doubt or confusion. I made sure there's nothing like that because that's boring. We're clear now on what we need to do. And I don't think you is asking much from us. And he could ask more. Instead of making you slaves, he set you free. He set the captives free. He said, I don't have plans to harm you, but to prosper you. Yeah, you got the whole earth. I watched today. They said the core is reversing now. Because this earth has everything you'll ever need to live here as divine gods and goddesses. Gods and goddesses. Alright? What's this creatures Bohemian land and sea, right? Genesis, Garden of Eden. Oh, a Q. A Q. The old Q was like that, but that is not right. This is a Q. The Q is this way, and there's no U of the Q. It's like that. Alright. Okay, what now? The fall of Adam and Eve. What is this? In agreement, the beginning and end. Adam and Eve represent the beginning and the end. So I don't know how that fit into the first story. But when Adam started, maybe Abraham is Adam, so that to be Abraham and Eve, meaning the Alpha, and then Eve was the Omega. And in that time, we gathered all the experience of the heart of God, of the all that is not. Right? Onto land and sea. When glitter fell from the seventh heaven onto land and sea. Number 1, beast and emotions. Land and sea, beast and emotions. Bohemian, sea serpent, untamed, immoral. Land and sea, land and marine, male man, something like that. Flesh and bone, fish bones, wish bones. Males were made with earth, females made with bone. There is no silent B in womb. A woman's womb. There's no B there. All that silent things are just trickery. Even I was thinking about Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That H must go. Because you're actually saying hey, like if you interpret it to English. And I just drew the A card. So it's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. God didn't put you here to experience light because you have always been light. He put you here to experience darkness. And it's not darkness, it's DarknesT. Can you see there? It's DarknesT. They've messed around with this language. Whenever they did, I'm not saying the people of now. We don't blame people for decisions made by their predecessors. But if we continue to believe the lie and try to live it, then bye Felicia. Okay? Looks like a pin. You see the T? The T is a pin to hold you in. It's a nail. Looks like a pin to gain experience and divine wisdom, intelligence, and So you were always light. There was nothing ever wrong with you. It was the sons and daughters of Khan that was envious of your light. And that used to make you feel guilty for being like that. That's why they try to get you to be like them. But the truth is, you had to experience what you experienced because therein lies your wisdom. So it was all good. Not while we're going through it, it was terrible. But in retrospect, like we can see, use wisdom. Okay, neither. Oh yeah, there's no silent B in home and stuff. Alright, what can you see? Can you see there? No silent B. Yeah, this part. What word is this here? Thumb. There's no, and it must be thumb. It can't be thumb. There's no B. That was a whole lot of crap. Cherubim were placed to block access to return to the Father. Oh, that's what I read. They said the angels at the tree of life, the portal to heaven, whatever, they were put there to block the access to return to the Father in divine timing to ensure that we complete our divine mission, i.e., to gain wisdom through experience. So, that makes sense to me. Adam and Eve didn't break God's law, they fulfilled it in divine timing. But it was Abraham and Eve. So everything was right, as wrong as it was. The beginning and the end. Okay, that's so far. I'll make another video.